Then I went into ultrasound school. And then I saw for the very first time the so-called blobs of tissue that I aborted were babies with little fingers and toes that I could see moving around. And that wall of denial that I was able to hide behind came crashing down. And when I went into work, they told me to turn the monitors away from women considering abortion so that the moving image wouldn't influence their choice. And I thought, wait a minute, that's not choice. And time after time, I would show the babies to the mother and they go, why didn't someone tell me? My baby was 8 weeks old when I aborted it. They told me it was a blob of tissue. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for showing me the truth.
Look at the ultrasound, see what she's really got inside. There's something in there. It's not a nothing. It's got fingers and feet. It's a baby.
Long, long ago, in a time of pain and grief, hurt and all alone, between fear and disbelief, a child was taken from you.
It wasn't just a blob of tissue like they had told me. I knew it was like common sense was telling me it had to be a baby because it would grow to be a baby, and that's what I would have had.
When I went through with the procedure, nobody gave me any information. I didn't know that it was a baby. I didn't know that there was going to be complications afterwards.
They had told me that it was nothing. There was no heartbeat, it was a clump of cells, that was all, and I believed it.
There was no information given whatsoever.
You can whisper to your friend and let the whole nation hear. Whisper a prayer of victory. Whisper to your friend, let the nation hear your cry. Whisper, be silent.
It's amazing, almost 40 years, abortion has been legal in our country. And we're seeing not only short-term complications of bleeding and infection, but we're seeing long-term complications that are related to an increased rate of maternal mortality related to childbirth. Think about this. We're seeing, and I'm seeing it in the hospital, increased rate of ectopic pregnancies. That's when the pregnancy is conceived in the tube, maybe because of scar tissue from an STD, chlamydia, or a repeat abortion. But if that does not have surgical intervention immediately and that ruptures, that woman could die. And there's a 200% increase of ectopic pregnancy. We're also seeing placenta previa, which is where the placenta covers the uterine os. We're seeing placenta abruption, where it actually detaches from the uterine lining, and that baby will die and that mother could bleed to death. Uterine perforation, when actually the uterus ruptures and explodes like a balloon, maybe because of a previous abortion, and now the uterus is not strong enough to hold that baby. We're seeing an increased rate of incompetent cervix. That's when the cervix has been stretched during an abortion, and then the muscles have been torn and they don't go back to normal. And so when the mother's in the second or third trimester, she can't hold the weight of the pregnancy, so she delivers a premature baby. And then we're seeing the increased rate of infertility. Women that want children cannot have children now. And now we can't even get babies to adopt because we're aborting them all. It doesn't make sense. And then the increased rate of breast cancer. And we're seeing these complications told over and over and over again from women that have had abortion. It's so, so sad.
The only 3 children that I would ever bear, I killed. And the doctor, when she finished, asked me if I had had abortions. I hadn't told her to begin with, and I said I had. And she said, what we found is that one of your tubes is 90% blocked, the other one is 100% blocked, and you will never have children because of those abortions. What that suction from that machine did was literally pull your tubes down flush with your uterus, and they are blocked. And I remember she walked out of the room, and she left me laying on the table to get dressed. And I sat in that room wondering how I was going to get dressed, and I was going to go out. And I was going to tell my husband that he took a chance on me and he loved me, but that he wasn't going to have his own biological children.
I met my husband. We got married. We desired to have a child. I didn't think about this when I was 19, of the consequences of abortion, and that I might not ever be able to have a child. So we conceived our first child within the first year of our marriage. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, Cynthia, it looks like you're trying to miscarry this child. You need to have an ultrasound. And I could see the heartbeat of my baby, and I could see him moving. And I looked, and I realized that was the size of my first son that I had aborted at 6 weeks. So I went home, and I had to stay in bed. And I kept on bleeding and bleeding and bleeding until I was 10 weeks. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me that it looks like the baby has died inside of you. And they went ahead and they performed a D&C on me. And in there I just cried out to God again and said, Lord, what have I done? Because even this child is having to suffer from the choices that I made so long ago. Lord, forgive me.